Hey, what's happening? This is your host Tinto, and before we get started on this weekend's episode, I thought to give a shout out to everybody that got me coffees, starting with you, Nyasha. Your comment goes, "Is it ironic that I listen to the podcast on my way to my boyfriend's house?" Don't be getting no ideas, all right? Thank you so much for the juicy, consistent content. Hey, you're welcome, Nyasha, and thank you for your generous gift. Then somebody came with anonymous 5 coffees. Thank you so much for your generosity. Keep supporting the podcast. Then going over to our usual suspect, Chitire Bogus, another lovely 2 gracious coffees. Thank you so much. And your comment is, "We need a space to vent one of these days." I will sort that out for y'alls. And then Tobega, thank you so much for your coffees and generosity. Your comment is, "Thank you for the lessons and the laughs." Hey, you're welcome. And then last but not least, Tendals, thank you very much for your generosity. And your comment goes, "Learning from other people's breakup stories is helping us stay safe in these streets. Thank you." If you'd like to do the same, please head over to www.buymeacoffee.com/feeling station and give as your spirit leads. Remember, there is nothing that is too small to support the podcast that you've grown to love. With that out of the way, let's crack into this weekend's episode.
Is that a breakup? I think we have a situation right here.
On the Feeling Station.
Yo, what's happening?
Hi.
Welcome to the Feeling Station.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
For those listening to the podcast for the first time, it touches on breakup stories that people would like to talk about with a view to give you listeners lessons that you can learn from my guest experience. Part of the reason why the podcast is doing phenomenally great is, one, I do my best to keep my guests anonymous, which brings me to the fun bit. Are you ready for this one?
Yes, I am.
This is the part where I give you the name that you're going to use for the duration of this episode. And I wish I could see your face because I would love to see the reaction to this, right? The name is Sura, right? Yeah.
Like for real?
Yeah, for real.
Like for real? You
For real. The name is Sura, right? Which is S.
I'm gonna call myself Sura. Something
Yeah.
like that. Not Sura.
Yeah, okay, call yourself Sura. That is Sura. And that name is actually really, really common in Western Sahara. So you're looking at Algeria, Libya, Morocco, Sudan, Tunisia, those kind of ends, right? And what that means is brave princess. That got you thinking, huh? How brave are you as a person in general?
It depends on what your definition of brave is. I'm only brave when I'm angry. That's the only time I'm brave to do anything.
That's when you have
Otherwise,
the guts. Because the emotions are proper all over the place, right?
Exactly. Otherwise, I'm a coward.
That reminds me of Coward the Friendly Dog. Did you ever watch it when you were a kid?
Yeah, I did. Grew up watching that.
Right. And what are you calling the guy that you're going to talk about today?
I'm going to call him Kingfisher.
Kingfisher? Okay.
Yeah.
I know Kingfisher the bird. I know Kingfisher the bear.
Yeah, the bird.
Yeah. Okay. It's a very pretty bird, though.
No, the beak resembled his mouth.
No.
His mouth was pointy.
That means he made all the better for kisses, right? I guess not. Okay, so this is about Sura and Kingfisher.
Yeah, Kingfisher.
Right. And the second reason why the podcast remains doing great is that there are real life lessons that my guests learn from the story you're going to share today. So, what would you like people to learn?
You know what? I've been listening to your podcast since you started. Almost everything has been said. There's nothing that, has never been said here. Okay. Well, I guess my first lesson would be, don't ignore the red flags.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's just don't ignore it. And then the second thing is, just because you think someone is your friend doesn't mean they're loyal to you.
Ooh, listen to that. I've said this before, that friendships end. Yeah. But for some reason, as humans, we feel like friendships always need to continue. But sometimes they get to a point where it's like, you know what? It's better to let this go.
You don't need some people, just cut them out of your life and you're done.
And it sounds like you got to that point somewhere.
Yes, I did.
Cool. So the two lessons. First up, don't ignore the red flags. And then second, just because you think someone is your friend doesn't necessarily mean that they're loyal to you.
Yes.
Cool. Let's get into it.
Mm.
Surah. Okay, Surah. And the reason why we're laughing, for those who don't get this, if anybody speaks Shona from Zimbabwe, Surah actually means I'll let you I'll let you tell people what Surah means.
Surah means letting one rip, like
letting one rip.
Yeah, farting. So,
I like the diplomacy that you used. I'd have gone a little more crude than that. But yeah, Surah means letting one rip. But in this case, it actually means brave princess. So we will call you Surah.
Okay, cool.
So Surah, tell me where you met Kingfisher and why you felt this is the guy I need to be with.
What happened was I was doing my attachment or internship, if that's what other people call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just in varsity, so I was doing my internship.
Yeah.
So I had just broken up with my boyfriend from varsity.
Mm-hmm.
And then barely 2 weeks after that, I was at the company canteen, and then the lady who used to give us the food, she comes to me and she's like, the dude over there said, you know what, he's going to pay for your food and your friend's food.
Ooh.
And I was like, which guy? And then she was like, the tall, light-skinned nigger in the corner. And I was like, oh, and he was handsome. I know I said the comment about the mouth.
You're speaking in past tense. What, is he not handsome anymore?
No, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what happened to him.
So maybe let's say he is handsome, just in case.
I guess he's still. You know what? He is handsome actually.
So why was his mouth such a problem for you to the extent that you call him Kingfisher?
It wasn't a problem. That's what I just every time I looked at him. There are moments when someone is annoying you. That's when you're trying to look for the fault. I'm like, he looks like a bird, something like that.
Okay.
That's how I came to that name. So that's the first day I noticed him. But I'd been working there for more than 6-7 months. But I never even noticed that he was there.
Yeah.
So the following couple of days, he kept doing that, paying for my lunch, my breakfast and stuff like that, until he finally came to me one day, and then he was like, "Oh, you know what? My name is Kingfisher. What's your name?" I'm like, "My name is Sarah," and so I can't get over this name. Okay, my name is Surah. And yes, yeah, we just talked, and then he was like, "Oh, can I have your number?" So in my mind, I was like, if someone has already been buying me lunch, the best thing I can do is just give them my number. And then I gave him my number.
Or maybe the best thing you could have done from the beginning is just give him a thank you for buying me these meals. Because it sounds like he bought you a number of meals before he came to you. How did you express your gratitude? How did you say thank you to him?
I'll just look at him, bet my eyelids, and then walk away.
Really?
Yeah. The thing was, during that time, the company I was working for was male dominated. Like, we were more than 100 employees. There were only about 10 or 15 of us females. So I thought I was like the it girl. I was like, whatever. I'm not going to talk to you, So I finally gave him my number. And then as soon as I did that, he sent me airtime. Like a huge amount of airtime. I'm like, what?
Wow.
And then I called him. I was like, did you make a mistake or something? He's like, nah, I know girls need airtime. You need to call your friends, and call your boyfriend. I'm like, okay. So I don't want to lie. It was my first time being, okay, this was my second relationship ever. But then it was, I was like, do all women get treated like this? Like, is this what my mom, got before she married my dad or something? It was just weird to me that, guys can give you all this without you even asking for it. So he would buy me an insane amount of airtime every day. And every time we spoke, we never spoke anything to do with love or him being interested in me. He just talked to me. I remember sometimes he'd be like, my sister. And I'm like, so why did he do all of that? And they call me my sister, something like that. But then, Kingfisher was really smooth. So this went on for about 2 weeks or so. And then on a certain Saturday, there was like social sports at the company.
Yeah.
So we went to this certain place where, people were playing netball, basketball, soccer, and stuff like that. He was a huge soccer fan.
Mm-hmm.
And then whilst we were there, I was like, I feel so, parched. I need some water. And then I was like, oh, my house is really nearby. We can go together.
Okay, Kingfisher.
No. It's not what you think.
I didn't say I'm thinking anything. I'm just like, all right, Kingfisher.
So I was like, but I can't go to your house, And then he was like, you know what? If you don't feel comfortable, come with your friend. So I actually took a friend of mine, a girl.
So why did you say you can't go to his house?
Because I just thought he was going to be up to no good, like what boys just do, where you go and then he's like, you want the ball or something like that. So
by this point, did you prejudged him?
Kinda.
Why?
Because from my previous relationship, that's how I started dating my boyfriend. He always used to try and take me to his, during in varsity. Oh, please come and visit me.
Yeah.
But then I was a little bit, I can't say stupid. I'm happy that's what I did because I thought it was true. But I didn't give in to his, request of, let's, okay. Because there was something that my mom had told me. My mom had said, if you do it, it'll break my back.
If you do what?
If you do sex.
Oh, so she planted to see that if you have sex, it'll break your back and then you can't walk.
And then, she will get her, So she was the one who's going to feel the pain. So she said, if you have sex, my back will break. Her back.
Wow. So you didn't want your mom's back?
Yeah, I thought it was true. And then she told me this some other garbage about if I do it, she will notice it from my collarbone. She will notice that I've had sex before and my calves will show as well. So I was really scared. Right. So I didn't want to go home. And then my mom like, you broke my back last week.
Okay.
I didn't want
to, so you're pretty much bringing in baggage from the previous relationship to say, look, exactly. I'm a bit weary. Okay, so you felt safer going because you had your friend with you.
My friend was with me, exactly. Mm-hmm. So his place was really nearby. It was like less than 200 meters away.
Wow.
So we walked to his place and then he told us to wait by the gate. So I was like, why would you tell me to come and make me wait by the gate? I'm thirsty. I just need water. But then my friend was also like, you know what, Suda, just chill. Maybe he wants to bring the water here since you showed that you didn't want to go inside. So I was like, it's okay. But we waited for a whole 15 to 30 minutes.
Wow.
Until I was like losing my temper. I actually called him. I'm like, dude, I don't know if you forgot that you've got people by the gate, but I came with you here and you're keeping me waiting outside. So he was like, no. Just give me 5 minutes. I'm coming.
He was cleaning up. Getting rid of some shit.
Listen. So 5 minutes pass by, turns to 10 minutes, and then finally he comes. And then he's like, oh, come inside and then you can get your water. I'm like, it's okay. And then I walk into the house and then I see his family sitting. His mom, his sisters, his mom's brother.
Wow.
And when I walk in, I'm like, should I be coming this side or should I go to a sick? And then he's like, no. Go and sit by the couch. I'm like, so when I walk in, already my heart is beating so fast. I can hear it in my ears. Like I can barely hear what's happening around me. I'm so scared. I'm like, what did I do? What have I gotten myself into? So I walk in and then his mom says, Murora, sit down. I'm like,
ooh.
Did you just call me daughter-in-law? Yes, Mama. I'll sit here. So I sat down and then he introduces me as his girlfriend.
Wow.
And I look at him, I'm like, I don't think we've discussed anything about love before. And his mom is like, so sorry, you were waiting by the gate. I was calling my brother to come so that he could also see you.
Wow.
His mom's brother. Exactly.
Mad thing.
It was the weirdest thing ever. It never happened to me before.
Did you exchange looks with your friend by this point?
I did. And she was pinching me like, oh my God, girl. The cows are about to come to your house. I'm like, but we never talked about anything related to love. Every time we spoke, it was just general stuff. And so he kind of looked at me and winked and told me, like, just like, I knew the wink was like just
play along.
like,
yeah,
just play along. I'm like, oh yeah, I am.
Wow.
But already I was feeling shy. It was a sporting day. I wasn't really decently dressed. I was in shorts and a little tiny top.
Yeah.
And now I'm just trying to use my hair to cover my shoulders. I'm now like doing this. It was weird, but then the hospitality was great. I actually spent the day there.
You ended up spending the day.
Yeah,
forget the corporate event. Forget the corporate event.
Like, whatever.
Right. Why did you spend the day there? Did you enjoy it so much?
I enjoyed how his sisters interacted with me. Even his mom should call me, come and see how I like cooking, your boyfriend's favorite meal and stuff like that. And this was the first time anyone had ever. No. See? And this was the first time anyone had ever, introduced me to their family. I had dated the university dude and I only got to meet his friends. Not even his sister. If his sister used to call when we were together, he would tell me to shut up. He would be like,
no way.
So finally having someone who like put you on a pedestal, like, this is my woman. I was in for it. I was like, you know what? I want it. Give it to me. I will have it. So after this, I went home. I remember I was so excited. I wanted to tell my mom, but I was like, oh no. Then he called me. He was like, so that was my way of showing you that I'm serious about you. I want you.
It's a very direct way. Why not just say it? As a guy,
I don't know.
That I want you and I seriously do want you. I mean,
exactly.
Why? For me, the question here is, why did you need to get a battalion together? Why did you need to get an army to support you? If you're a guy who can really stand your own ground and prove that you want a woman.
I know, right? And now that I think about it, I never thought about it that way. I just thought, oh my God, this guy is so sincere. He wants to take out, those are the steps that you have to take later in the relationship we do it now. So after that, we became an item, and then we became so inseparable at work. Like, barely a week after dating, like, HR just called us. They're like, we heard that you're dating. And she's an attachment. You are like her superior, and you're superior.
And this is inappropriate.
This is inappropriate, but we will allow it. We just want to see you doing your romance shit around the company.
So what were you guys doing around the company for HR to say that? Were you like walking down the corridors holding hands or what?
Something like that.
What the hell? Who does that though?
I was young. I was 22. I was stupid.
Okay, but no, he wasn't 22.
No, he wasn't. He was 24.
So he should have known better.
Yeah. I guess I was too much, of a good girlfriend. He wanted to show me off.
I'm just...
No.
Okay. Okay, I'll take that. Right. Go on.
So we dated for, this went on for about 4 or 5 months, and he never asked for the SEX. Never. He seemed so chilled about it. I was like, oh, perfect. So there was one time when I had to go for a business trip, but I was going alone. So I was staying, it was not in our hometown. So I had to go like to another town, and I had to stay at a hotel for like 7 days or something like that. So I told him, oh, you know what, babe, I'm not going to be around and stuff like that. He's like, cool. And then on my second night there, I remember I was done with my work. I had gone back to my room. I was chilling, watching TV. And then there's a knock on the door. I'm like, but I didn't order room service or anything. I was actually quite scared because I was like, what if it's weird because I was the only girl staying at that. It was a small hotel, but then I knew I'm the only girl who's here. They were mostly businessmen. So I thought maybe, those drunk, people were like, oh, come, let's have a good time or something like that. So I went to the door and then I opened it and then there he is. I'm like...
That's a bit scary. Because someone at reception would have told him what your room number is.
Anna, he knew. We used to call each other and tell, I'm in this room.
Okay.
He used to go there as well. The company used to use the same hotel every time people went out to that area. So he knew exactly which room I was.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. So obviously I'm happy. And then he's like, I missed you. Work was boring yesterday and today. So I thought I would come and see you. I'm like, I'm so happy and stuff like that. We chill, we talk, he drinks, I have, and then, yeah. And then he wakes up early morning and he leaves. And that's when I broke my mom's back.
So you broke your
I decided to break it.
So you broke your mom's back in the morning, not in the evening when you guys were
No.
you drank.
Yeah, in the morning. Yeah, somewhere there. And then he actually would drive back every night after work.
To come to you?
Yeah, come and see me and stuff. But then after that, nothing happened. Because I was still like, I don't want to break it more. I broke it once. I can't keep breaking it. By the time I go back home, she'll be dead. So I went back home and my mother could still walk. She didn't complain of any baking. I was like, okay. You lied to me, mother.
This is so funny. This is so funny. So when you saw your mom, the first thing you were looking for was whether she was limping or
is she limping?
And she was fine.
And she was like, how was your trip? I'm like, you okay?
This is funny.
Yeah, I actually believed it for a very long time.
So and what about your collarbone? Were you like holding your collarbone the whole time?
Obviously, I was, you're talking to your mom like this, and then and I'm trying to wear like pants and long skirts because I'm like my cows, but then she didn't say jack. And I'm like, oh my God, she played me.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? Actually, I didn't regret that I did it. I know most people are like, I regret. I didn't because I thought that was it. In my mind, I thought, you know what? I'm going to be like Celine Dion.
What's that?
She met her manager. Celine Dion she met her manager, that old man. They fell in love. He was the only guy she ever knew.
Really?
Yeah. She always says it. Oh, Renee was the love of my life. Something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
So
I didn't know
in my
that.
mind, it's actually, she always talks about it. So in my mind, I was like, you know what? I'm the second Celine.
Okay. Yeah.
I met my love. And I did it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. So things were perfect for a long time. Like we're nearing 9 months into the relationship and he used to spoil me. Like, you know what?
So hang on a second.
Yeah.
If 9 months is a really long time, if you described it, how long was your uni thing?
No. When I say long time, I mean long time with no problems.
Oh, okay. Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Long time with no problems. Just perfection. Birds whistling in the morning, texts coming in, surprise gifts. Just like, you know what, babe, at lunch, I'm going to come to your office and then he would buy clothes for me like literally every week.
Wow.
I don't want to lie. The money was good too. But I genuinely felt like he was the guy I was going to spend the rest of my life with. That's how smitten I was. So so it was now in December of that year and I was about to finish my attachment. So there was a work party. So during the work party, I told him, like, I'm tired. It was around 4:30 p.m. I'm like, I want to go home. And then he's like, let me take you to town. And then you can make your way home. I still want to drink with my friends here. I'm like, cool. But on our way there, we had an accident.
Oh.
Yeah. It was really bad. So, yeah, like I got hurt. Up until now, I still have the scars, like on my face, my forehead, my eyebrow and stuff like that. My eyelid, it was all wrecked.
Jeez.
And, that's not something where you can just walk up and be like, I'll go home and be like, something happened at work. So
No, you can't.
as soon as it happened, he passed out. That's how bad it was. Like, I think it was just the shock of the whole thing happening.
Yeah.
So I called my parents, and then my parents came speeding, and then this lady was so nice, took us to hospital, and my parents came, and I was really scared. It's really scary when your dad knows, like, the boy in the next room is the one who's responsible, but they took it like champs. And then
so how did it happen? Was it his fault that the accident happened?
no, he was actually trying to avoid a car that was coming towards my side.
Yeah.
So in him trying to swerve away,
Mm-hmm.
I guess he panicked, and then he stepped onto the accelerator, and then he went head on into the truck on the other side. So we had a head-on collision.
Okay.
Yeah, if he hadn't done that, I was just going to be the one who was going to be, in trouble and stuff like that. So the accident happened, and I thought, the parents are not going to be cool about it, but then they're actually really good. They were so nice. And that was it. Like, for me, that was like my own form of introducing him to my parents. Like, he's the guy, so I'm sure you know what happened. Yeah.
It was a weird way of introducing him, wasn't it? I mean, but
exactly.
I guess there couldn't have been a better time, in quotes.
They couldn't, exactly. And so we were in hospital together for like 3 days. And as usual, we are still the couple at the hospital. Like, the nurses be like, take the two lovebirds and make them go to the
when they talk about being inseparable, they should really have Kingfisher and Sura as the definition. Wow.
We were so inseparable. Like, it was just something else. And then there's one thing I didn't mention. Kingfisher's parents are divorced.
Okay.
And his dad is another wife. But his mom is still, she's still single.
Mm-hmm.
Please note.
Okay.
So after the accident, things go back to normal, and I still have 3 months before I have to go back to uni. And then one day, King's mom calls me. She's like, Rhoda, please come and see me. I go there. And then she's like, there's something I have to tell you. You know that me and King's dad are not together anymore.
Mm-hmm.
This and that and that and that. His dad has a new wife.
Mm-hmm.
But you know about King's ex-girlfriend, right? And I knew a couple of things about her. Like, King had told me, I used to date this girl. She was this and that. We just had to break up. But he never really told me. Like, I never cared to really want to ask, like, why did you break up? And then finally his mom told me, like, I hope I can explain this in the best English I can. His new stepmom, okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then his ex-girlfriend. This is the relationship between them. The dad, the ex-girlfriend's dad, is his stepmom's brother.
Aye. You need to run that.
No.
Yeah, you need to run that past me again.
His ex-girlfriend's father.
Yes.
Is his stepmom's brother.
Hey, that is a mad thing.
Yes.
That means there's no way that his ex-girlfriend was going to be very far.
Yeah. There's actually some type of relationship there, because he could have easily called her my nini.
Yeah.
Because she will be calling his dad Babamkuru.
Exactly.
So she was just a my nini to him.
Exactly.
So then the mom told me, like, she was like, you know what? When he started dating her, she hadn't disclosed all this information to him. Like, you know what? I'm actually related to your stepmom. So when his mom found out, she was like the catalyst in their breakup.
Oh.
Because obviously there's the bad blood between her and the stepmom.
Oh.
Because the breakup was not between his parents, was not like, I'm just tired of you. And then the stepmom came into the picture, and then the dad was like, "I'm leaving your ass. I have to go to this other woman." So there was that animosity. So when she told me that, I don't want to lie to you, I knew that I was now deep into some weird stuff. But I thought, you know what, I could probably win. But I told my mom, I remember I told my mom, I'm like, my mom was like, this will not end well. And I didn't listen.
Out of curiosity, your ex's mom, Kingfisher's mom. When you look back now, why do you think it was important for her to tell you that piece of information? There was a motive behind it. Why do you think she told you that?
You know what? I think she told me just in time, because I think there'd been some exchange of words between her and the stepmom regarding my relationship with Kingfisher. The stepmom had found out about me, and she wasn't happy. She still wanted her niece to date Kingfisher.
Hey, boy. So she was telling you maybe just to let you know that there's some fire coming.
There's some fire coming, yeah.
So be ready. And your mom, I guess, could sense this. That's why she's like,
my mom could
this won't end well.
It. Yeah, my mom is an angel from heaven. My mom, she was like, you know what? If I were you, I'd step out. You haven't given him anything of significance, right? And I'm like, no, I broke your back.
I like how she says you haven't given him anything of significance.
She knew exactly.
Like an expensive watch, or she knew exactly what she was talking about.
What she meant, and I was like, no, I haven't.
Why did you lie to your mom?
Because there's no one who wants their mom to know.
But you know that moms would already know anyway. She was just choosing not to say.
If she knows, then she knows. But then I don't. Up until now, I think she doesn't know.
Okay.
I see the way she addresses me, and now she talks to other people about me.
Saying what?
Like, she's like, that's why you still have your period pains, because you're a girl. You haven't been doing shit with boys. And she'll be telling my little cousins, like, be like your bigger cousin, man. Look at her. She's not messed up because she hasn't done anything with anyone. She's perfect. I'm like, yeah, I am.
How do you feel hearing that from your mom?
It makes me feel some type of way if she carries on about it. Like, if she keeps rambling, I'm like, oh, just keep quiet. I broke your back a long back.
Is there any value in opening up to her?
I don't want to do that. I'm never going to tell her anything. Unless if she listens to podcasts and then she recognizes my voice.
No, I don't think.
But I know she's too old.
No, we cool.
She doesn't even know what a podcast is. So
lucky for her. Okay.
I know. She's still, she's still holding on to that prospect.
Yeah. Okay. So
when that happened, I actually confronted Kingfisher about it, and I was like, I'm not happy that you didn't tell me all this stuff. You could have at least let me know, or it would have been my choice to still go on with the relationship, knowing all of this, or I could have just said, you know what, I cannot deal with this drama.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I don't want to lose. You know what boys say, I don't want to lose you and stuff like that. And yeah. So my first encounter with this stepmom, just before I left for school. So the thing was, I'm sorry. Before I left for school, I told one of Kingfisher's cousins, like, oh, I'm leaving on Wednesday. I'm going to school on Wednesday. And then I guess he told the stepmom that, oh, the girlfriend is leaving on a Wednesday. But I actually changed plans. And I was like, why would I go midweek? I'll wait until the Sunday and then go on a Sunday. So on the Friday when we were together, the ex-girlfriend called. We are going to call her. What's the most sleaziest name you can ever think of?
Wow.
Can't think of. Oh, Sekai. Sekai calls. And I'm together with Kingfisher. And then Kingfisher is like, I'm with my girlfriend. Please stop calling my girlfriend. Still stop calling me. I'm with my girlfriend, right? Then obviously Sekai goes to tell the stepmom, like her aunt, like, oh, King is still with his girlfriend. This woman actually on the Sunday I leave, and then the following week on a Friday or so, she goes to my aunt's workplace, and she's like, "Do you know that your niece is a war?" My aunt is like, "What are you talking about? I don't even know you. Like, who the hell are you?" And then she's like, because she was staying in a hotel with my niece's ex-boyfriend. And my aunt is confused. And then she calls my mom. She's like, "When did Suda go to school?" And my mom's like, "Oh, she left on a Sunday." And then she tells my mom everything. And then the woman goes back the following day, and then my aunt finally tells her, like, "Actually, my niece didn't go to school until Sunday. So where are you getting all this information from?" And I guess she asked for my number from someone. I don't know who gave her my number. She calls me when I'm in varsity. And she's screaming at the top of her voice, "Hey, you know what? You're the reason why my niece is not happy." She was screaming. I just put the phone on the table and I just started doing whatever I was doing. I was cooking, I remember, with my friend. I was like, "Listen to this crazy woman." And she shouted so much. And then when she was done, I was just like, "Are you done?" She's like, "How can you disrespect me like that?" And then while she was talking, I just hung up. Then I blocked her number. And then after that, there was silence for like a long time. And I thought everything was okay. And then my relationship with Kingfisher was still okay. But then now I was a little bit, apprehensive about other stuff. Like, I was like, I thought this was going to be like a fairy tale. It's not really what I thought it was. Now I feel like I'm in some African movie where someone is going to send some lightning and and strike me during winter whilst I'm walking to school or something. Like, I was so scared. I was like, what have I gotten myself? There are times when you actually regret things. I was like, that was one of the things I was like, I wish I'd known. No matter how nice this guy is to me, but it's making me go through stuff that I don't really need to go through at 23. I don't need to be going through all this hell and fire for what? For me to break my mother's back every night. No.
You're like, no, this is not necessary.
This is not necessary. So finally what happened was like, whilst I was at school, one of my workmates actually called me. And then my former workmate actually, he was like, "Oh, so how are you dealing with the breakup?" I'm like, "What breakup are you talking about?" And it's like, "Oh, Kingfisher is now dating your friend." I'm like, "My friend from when? Oh, your friend who you left working here." When someone tells you bad news when you're not expecting it, it hurts more than you suspecting something and then finally finding out that it's actually true.
Oh my gosh.
This is me in a world of bliss. And then someone just tells me, "Oh, I remember when, as soon as I got off the phone, I remember I was shaking. And I called my friend first. That's the person I called first. I was like, "What the hell are you doing with Kingfisher?" And then she was like, "Oh, I thought you guys broke up." I'm like, "Even if we broke up, girl code, dude.
So how soon was it between your guys breaking up and these guys connecting?
We didn't even break up. We were still dating."
This is the thing. Like, in my head, I haven't heard about a breakup. So what the hell was going on?
The previous night we had just been telling us, "Oh my," and when I was at school, he was already like doing most of my upkeep. He had just sent me money.
So, okay, I'll let you tell the story, then I'll ask the questions.
And then the girl's like, "Oh, he told me that you guys broke up." I'm like, "No, we didn't break up." And I remember I called his mom. And I'm like, "Mama." Like, and then the mom is like, "No, I heard about that relationship, but I ended it." I'm like, "How did you end it?" She's like, "Oh, I called the girl and I told her to leave him alone." Stuff like that. And I remember whilst I was on the call with her, Kingfisher actually walked in, and then the mom confronted him and he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened to me," and stuff like that. And his mom was like, no, my daughter-in-law, don't. I know he's stupid. He's a stupid boy. You know what? Forgive him. No, 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 no. And that's when I should have just walked away.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that the mom was always the person who was bringing us back together.
Yeah.
His mom loved me. I don't want to lie. That woman loved me, and I loved her too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think after that, like, she would call me every day, like, I'm so sorry, Murora. You know, and I'm like, no, it's okay, Mama, you know. And then he was now trying to make it up, like, you know what, it's a mistake. I honestly messed up. You know, I still love you. That's why I never broke up with you for that other girl.
So
she's a whore.
So he wanted to two-time you, pretty much.
Exactly. He wanted to two-time me, and then he got, ratted out pretty quick. And then with the girl, it ended, right? And then after that incident, barely 2 weeks after that, he started like becoming very unavailable. Like I could talk to him anytime, but I would call him and he wouldn't pick up the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
I would text him and he wouldn't reply my messages. And on WhatsApp, I could see that he's online. He wouldn't reply my messages no matter what. Sometimes he would block me for a day or so. And then when I ask him about it, he's like, no, my phone is acting up. But then I would ask my sister, like, can you still see his profile picture? She's like, oh, yeah. He's online. I can see him.
Wow.
You know? And because I was so deep into the relationship, I was like, you know what? Maybe this is because I'm not at home. I'm at school. You know, we're not seeing each other a lot. And then I finished and then this was now going towards the end of my degree. I remember I'd be calling him like, oh, for my graduation party. No, actually for the graduation ceremony, I was like, I've already talked to my parents. They said you could join us. And, and then he kept giving me excuses like, oh, I think I might be busy on that day. I'm like, dude, it's a Saturday. We don't work on Saturdays. I might be busy. I might be doing this and that and that. And then I finished my degree. For the graduation ceremony, he didn't go. My party, he didn't show up. And I remember for the whole of December, I was at home. I only saw him once.
Once?
Someone who I saw like literally every day. Yeah.
Wow.
I saw him once. And when I saw him once, it was because I'd actually asked his cousin who stays near my hood to call me if he shows up at their place.
Wow.
And I'm like, he's like, oh, no, everything is normal. It's normal. I'm like, no. But in my mind, I just kept telling myself there's something going on that I can fix.
Yeah.
And then I remember I called him and I was like, you know what? I feel so sad being your girlfriend. I remember I used those words. I was like, I'm the saddest woman on earth because I'm a girlfriend. Please just let me go. I'm done. It's like, oh no, you're the best thing that has ever happened to me. You know what? Actually, let's go to your aunts. I want them to give me a date so that I can come and marry you.
Isn't it funny how men always use that as a measure of last resort? You know, when push comes to shove.
Yeah, and I think it's because men know that women love to be married. We love this whole belonging to a unit thing. That's what women crave for. So I fell into that trap and we actually went to my aunt's place. God bless my aunt. I think if she thinks about it, she's like, oh, what an oopsie doopsie. Like I went there, we bought his stuff. He told her, like, I love your niece. I want to marry her. And my aunt, she was impressed. I remember she went home. She's like, oh, he's handsome. Oh, my God. And he was tall. And I'm short. We looked so cute together. Oh, my God. Serious boyfriend is just... And then I remember my dad, I think my mom had told my dad about the stepmom incident. I remember my dad calling me like, are you ready for that stuff?
Wow.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And my dad is like,
you're not.
It's not to stereotype or anything, but then my dad was like, usually if someone is coming from a broken home, they're usually broken themselves too. But I didn't care. I was like, I want it. And then he was like, we need a date. And then my parents set a date. It was in March, the first weekend of March, I remember. And now we are nearing 2.5 years in the relationship, I remember. And then I remember on Valentine's, he didn't call me, he didn't text me, nothing.
The whole day.
The whole day. Hey. And I tried to call him and he didn't pick up my calls. Nothing. And finally, around 6 p.m., he called me. He's like, I'm by your gate. And then he hands me money. He's like, buy yourself anything that you want.
This guy really knew how to manipulate you, didn't he? And how to manipulate situations.
But you know what? I honestly felt really, really sad. I remember I took that money and then I went into my room and my mom was like, how's my son-in-law? I'm like, oh, he's okay. You know when you talk through tears when they're literally stinging your eyes because you don't want them to drop? I went into my room and I cried, I remember. I cried so much. I actually told my mom I have a migraine. Thank God I have migraine. Okay, not thank God. I do have migraines, but that saved me because my mom was like, oh, she's sick. Let her sleep, you know. And the following week, I remember that the Valentine's for that year was on a Friday. The following week on the 21st, I was making supper for my parents. It was just the three of us at home, me, my dad, and my mom. And then his number calls me. And it was actually a happy surprise because he wasn't calling me anymore. So when I saw his call, I was so happy. And I'm like, oh, hey, babe. And then there's a girl on the line.
Oh.
And then she's like, is this Sura? And I'm like, yeah, it is. And then it's like, oh, this is Sekai here. And I'm like, bitch, what the heck?
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm with your mans right now. Your mans are so tired from breaking my back. He's sleeping.
Wow.
And I knew this was true because she used his number. There was no way she was lying.
Yeah.
If she'd called me with her phone, I'd be like, oh, she's lying.
Yeah.
She used his phone. And I remember when it happened. Have you ever been near a place where someone is shooting a gun and then you have that sound in your ears?
Yep.
The moment she said it, I remember it felt like something popped in my head. And then my ears just started ringing. And I remember I was cooking and then I felt this huge lump coming here. Actually, I remember I actually touched my throat because I thought maybe there's an Adam's apple that has just developed from the feeling I got. I remember I touched my throat and my voice went. Like I couldn't talk. Like I tried to speak, but then there was no sound. And then I hung up. And then I remember I just went to my mom and then I just said, I'm going into my room. I went into my room and then I just went on. Do you know when you feel numb, you don't cry?
Yeah.
There's this weird feeling that you have. Like you're angry, you're sad. That's what I felt. And I was like that for like 10 minutes or so. But it felt like eternity. And then after that, I remember the first person I called was his sister. Because I was actually kind of close with his sister as well. Sorry. Then I called his sister. I'm like, where's Kingfisher today? And she's like, oh, he's out with work. He's going to be sleeping at a hotel. Stuff like that. So he actually lied at home that he's going out, for work.
Wow.
And then I told her, he's actually not at work. He's with Sekai. Sekai just called me with his number and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. I narrated the whole thing. And then she put the mom on the phone and I told her everything. And then after I got off the phone with them, after about 5 or 10 minutes, Kingfisher calls again. And then I answer. And then this time it's him. And then it's like, who did you tell? I'm like, I told your mom. And then he was like, why did you tell my mom? I'm like, I have no one else to tell. If I tell my relatives, they will hate your ass.
Yeah.
And you won't be able to come and, marry me and stuff like that. And then he was like, oh, now I have to explain a lot of stuff to my parents. You know what? You shouldn't have told them. You should have just confronted me. I was like,
you're up to bullshit, my man.
Exactly. And then we exchanged words. And I remember during the call during the fight, he just said, you know what? I'm tired.
Mm.
And I'm like, when you say you're tired, do you mean you're tired of me or you're tired of this conversation? And he was like, go figure.
Jeez. This is what often happens when people are put into really difficult situations that challenge their credibility as an individual.
Mm.
Any form of caring for someone goes out the window because
Out
they
the
think I
window.
need to defend myself at all costs.
Exactly.
And that's even at the expense of this relationship. And that's where this guy was. Probably because he knew that he had somebody to fall back on anyway. So for him,
Exactly.
it wasn't a lose-lose situation. It was a lose you, but win.
Lose, yeah. Win someone else. And I decided to take the little pride I had. Because before this, this incident was just a culmination of months that were just bad from, I think, from around November of the previous year, where it was just being horrible to me up until this day. And then I just decided, you know what, let me walk away. I don't need this. And I remember soon after I got off the phone with him, I blocked his number, I blocked his Facebook, I blocked his Instagram, everything. I blocked him on everything. And then I just called his sister. I was like, you know what, it's been nice knowing you, but then I can't do this anymore. I knew his mom would try and convince me. I blocked all of them.
You didn't want to be persuaded because it hurt so much.
I did. It hurt so much.
Yeah.
And all of this was happening and I still couldn't cry. I just had this huge lump on my throat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I blocked all of them and I walked back into the living room with my parents, put on a show, finished making dinner, gave them their food. I told them I'm not hungry. Went into my room, called my aunt who had gone with him to introduce him to my aunt and stuff like that. I told them, like, I don't know how you're going to do it. You have to tell your brother that the event that's supposed to happen 2 weeks from now, it cannot happen anymore because the boy did this and that to me. And then I just told her, like, right now I actually cannot talk. I just need to. And I remember I just lay on my bed, but I don't know when I fell asleep. And even when I was sleeping, it felt like I'm floating.
Yeah.
It felt like it's an out of body. I was in so much disbelief. I didn't sleep. I didn't even dream. I am a dreamer. Tinto, I can dream 10 dreams in one night. 10 ridiculous dreams in one night.
Yeah.
But on that
you did
particular
not
day, I had no dreams. Nothing.
Yeah.
I just slept like a corpse or something like that. And I remember my mom let me sleep in. My mom is very strict about, what time people should wake up. She'll come banging on your door at 6 a.m. Muskananga, I'm okay. She didn't on that day. She came into my room around 9. She's like, oh, your aunt told me what happened. Like, how are you keeping up? I'm like, is what's expected of me to do? I'm hurt, but I still have to continue with my life. I remember my dad was like, let's go to town together. It was a weird drive, but he spoke to me like, I've never spoken to my dad like that. He was like, you know what? You're my princess. And don't allow men to take advantage of you. And he told me one thing. He was like, from the start when I met your boyfriend, I actually know his dad from way back. But I didn't want to tell you. His dad was a player even when we were growing up together.
So the apple don't fall too far from the tree.
Exactly. That's why you remember why I told you my dad said, if someone comes from a broken family, usually they're broken themselves as well. And I was like, it's okay. And I remember my dad was like, so now here's the thing. We spoke to your other relative who's not in the country. You have a day or two to decide. Do you want to still be in Zim? Or do you want to go to that place? I was like, I want to go there. And I left my life and I went to another country. And that was the last time I spoke to him. I have no idea where he is right now. I've never cared to look for him or to unblock him or to nothing.
It's really interesting that your name is actually Sura because, like you said, it means brave princess.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people who are able to put this brave face on and say, I'm looking out for me and and act it out and be the way that you are. Because there's a lot of episodes that I've asked people, oh, so where's this person now? And they're too quick to tell me, oh, yeah, he's doing this, this, and that, because they're still connected, they're still preying, they're still... And it doesn't feel like you're doing that. It's like you drew the line and you said, look, you won't cross this line, this is it, and you got your stuff together, and now you're where you are.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea where, like, I have no idea. I just never cared to check.
Yeah.
The only person who popped up in my life was Sekai.
Yeah.
She texted me about 2 years after the incident, and then she was like, I wanted to apologize to you for what I did to you. And I'm like, I don't need your apology, my guy. Go and apologize to someone who cares. She's like, you know what? I'm saying that because I feel like you cursed me. I'm like, I didn't curse you.
Because now she's got karma biting her ass.
The karma was she has lost 2 boyfriends to death in a space of 2 years.
Jeez.
And I'm like, I didn't curse you.
Yo.
I don't curse. If I wanted to curse you, you'd have dropped dead.
Yeah.
Why would I curse your boyfriends? They didn't do nothing to me. And then she confessed the whole thing. She was like, I actually went. He was at his dad's place. I seduced him. Nani. He fell asleep. I took his phone. I was like, I don't care.
You see, for a
the
lot
fact
of
that he, yeah,
for a lot of people who end up telling you all this stuff, you know, as a backstory, especially after such a long time, it's really just to set their own consciences free. Eh?
Exactly.
It's not that they care about you as an individual or how it made you feel. It's just so that they can sleep better at night. But you, on the other hand, have been sleeping okay since day one.
Exactly.
So the only person that this really hurts is themselves.
Yeah.
What
she tried it with me. I just told her, like, you know what? I shouldn't even have replied your messenger message.
Yeah.
But I felt like maybe she wanted to tell me something of value. But then I told her, like, I didn't curse you and I don't care what's happening in your life. Like, I honestly don't care. So whatever is happening in your life, you probably deserve it.
Yeah.
It's karma without the good head.
Oh, without the good head. For anybody who who doesn't know what that refers to, go back to episodes 83 and 84, and that reference will make a lot of sense. But no, Sura, this has been an incredible story. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And for those who are listening to this, 2 key lessons came out. The first one, don't ignore the red flags. You know, some of these red flags, I think, really came from the folks. You know, Sura's dad was like, hey, do you know what? Somebody who comes from a broken family probably is broken themselves. That was a huge red flag. And then the absence during the relationship, going a couple of days without any messages, the random phone calls, that was bare red flags. Don't ignore them. And then the second lesson, just because you think somebody's your friend doesn't mean they're loyal to you. This couldn't have been more real. So if any of you have any friends that you need to put in check because their loyalty has been tested, you know, better read in between the lines, because what is coming your way is probably the real deal and who they really are. You've been listening to another episode of The Feeling Station. I'm your host, Tinto, and I look forward to catching you in next weekend's episode. Peace.
Tell me what you're feeling.
Satis on Daru Raini and Chagizai.
Tell me what you're feeling. Now that it's over.
Satis on Daru Raini and Chagizai.
Let me talk about my feelings. Let me talk about my feelings, yeah.
Urudoi motoru no to kujidziro amai.
Kujidziro amai. Love is a fire.
Urudoi motoru no to kujidziro amai.